YouTube, it's your boy Young Trey. Welcome to Life of Young Trey. Back with another banger video. Today I'm coming at y'all with a reaction to Shane and his wife Hannah. The name of the video is called Things You Should Never Say to a Disabled Person. So let's get into it, and I'm going to break down my reaction to it and put my input in it. So let's check it out.
Ready?
Yep. Do I like my hair right now?
I don't know. You have a little, whatever that's called,
A
widow's
peak?
Is that a widow's peak?
No, I think it's called a dragon tail. A rat tail. Is that a rat tail?
No, it's not a rat tail.
Is my hat? I think my hat is behind you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna be a weirdo and wear a hat indoors. I haven't been liking my hair lately.
No? Is that good?
And that doesn't improve it at all, but at least you
I
can't
can
see.
still see your widow's peak, Shane.
At least you can't see my hair.
Nope. Alright, today we have a really exciting video. We're both happy to be doing this, I think.
It feels like the kind of video that's gonna get a lot of comments from people arguing with us.
True.
Telling us that we're wrong and that because they've been called out, they need to defend themselves.
And I want y'all to know, I ain't built with it a lot, but I done had different people that try to come up to me and say different stuff, so I kind of understand what he mean by some of the stuff he about to say, because sometimes certain stuff you shouldn't say. Even though you mean good, you shouldn't want to ask all these crazy questions. You gotta be careful what you ask people. Yeah, you're not trying to be mean, but you just gotta be careful how you just come up asking people random questions like this, because any little thing can make somebody feel like you're trying to be funny or you're trying to be mean. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We don't want to be confrontational.
No, but I think this is an important topic. We get questions about it. We see comments on our channel and people saying things in person that are kind of offensive, terms that people are using. And so we're going to make a video about what terms and words you should and should not say about disabled people.
Yeah, the language that we use when we talk about disability is really important because that creates all of the assumptions and ideas that people have about disability. So in addition to talking about how able-bodied people talk about disability, we're also going to talk about how disabled people themselves talk about disability, and some controversy that exists in that area as well. So here we go. This is just a list of things that you shouldn't.
And my thing is, if you able to walk around and do what you can do and all that, how you gonna speak on a disabled person when you don't know what they go through on a daily basis? But I don't get it.
Say when you're talking about disability. So we'll start with like the most obvious, and these are phrases that infantilize someone with a disability, makes them into a kid. Speed racer.
This is for.
Oh yeah, speed racer. That's like, they mean like speed racer, like, oh, he in a wheelchair, he be driving fast, and you a driver, this, that, and third. So this one right here, speed racer, that ain't that bad, cause people done been like, dang, boy, he be speeding, this and that, but I ain't take offense to that, cause that's like funny. So this one right here ain't a big deal to me.
For people in wheelchairs. This happens to Shane a lot. When we're at the grocery store, a person, well, generally older people, trying to be friendly, will see Shane in his chair and say something like, "Whoa there, speed racer," or "You have a license for that thing?"
Slow down there, buddy.
Or "That looks like fun. Can I have a ride?"
Yeah, I mean, other phrases that are kind of like similar to speed racer.
And then with the speed racer thing, the kids love it, cause you know kids, they don't be understanding, so when they see me, they be trying to hop on the back of the wheelchair and drive and all kind of junk. That junk be funny.
Buddy, I get all the time. And
big guy.
Big guy. I know that like you can address someone with that term and it can be not offensive, but it's the way that they single out me with my wheelchair as the big guy and the buddy.
And most 28-year-old men aren't referred to as big guy. Like, if you get into an elevator, would you expect the stranger in the elevator to say, "Hey there, big guy"? Like, no, you really don't. It's very strange. And it always gives me like a pit in my stomach when someone says that, because I'm just like, oh my God, that was so rude. It's so rude.
It's important to remember that people with disabilities are just living their lives like anyone else. We are not special or, deserving extra
Friendliness.
Yeah, that's another thing. People think because you're on a wheelchair, you gotta get special treatment or you deserve a this and that. Nah, bro. Treat me just like you would somebody else. Simple.
Toddling, toddling their friendliness. Just treat us the way you would treat any other stranger that you meet on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
That kind of leads to the next phrase that is used a lot, and it's not as obviously offensive, and that is special needs.
That word is used in school settings a lot. It's used by parents of kids that have disabilities. And in the disability...
No, I've never been called special needs. I've never been called that one, but I do know people do say that to people. And, sometimes they say special needs is like when you're in school, you need more attention than other kids. But special needs is, I don't know, I guess that's just phrase they use. But me in particular, I really don't like the word because it sounds a little offensive, but I don't know, I guess
community, from what I've seen, it's generally seen as a term that was created by able-bodied people to make them feel better about disabled people.
Yeah, if you think about it, special needs means that my very common sense and kind of humane needs, like caregiving and ramps and accessibility, that's not special, and it shouldn't be considered special.
Yeah. The other thing is that special needs isn't a protected class of people under any U.S. laws. So the ADA talks about disabled people, and special needs people aren't under that category.
Yeah, and so I know that this one's going to get some pushback because people feel like it's not offensive and it's perfect.
Oh yeah, I'm not special needs. I use a wheelchair because I can't get around, so it's two different things. You can't say I'm special needs because I use a wheelchair. No, that's two different things. Special needs and need a wheelchair to get around. That's not the same.
It perfectly fits the disabled person in their life. All we're telling you is that being so involved in the disability community, what we hear is that disabled people do not like the phrase, and we feel like it makes us too special, and we're not.
There was this video that went around a while ago, and it was made by a bunch of people with Down syndrome, and they were talking about like what their needs would be if they were special. And I remember there was one that was like, it's not like we need to eat dinosaur eggs, like all of our needs are very normal. So like that's the sort of, attitude that I think a lot of people take toward that term.
Yeah.
The next word is similar. It is differently abled, which I think is a lot.
No, I never heard of this before, so this one new to me because I never heard of this one.
Less common than special needs, but has a similar ring to it in that it tries to make disabled sound better and makes it differently abled.
I think that's a great way to think about all of these.
Yeah.
If a word is trying to shy away from disability because disability is assumed to be a bad thing, that's a problem. That's a problem. We need to make it so that disability doesn't have a negative connotation. Yeah. That's like the...
Oh yeah, that's a big one. It is. I don't know why, but disability do have a negative ring to it. Like people try to make it seem negative because you're disabled. That don't mean nothing. We still have a normal, regular life just like y'all. Yeah, we might need a little more help, but we still normal and regular just like everybody else. I don't get it.
Biggest point of the whole disability activism movement is that disability is not bad. And so differently abled
Yeah.
is like just shining around the word disability.
Another thing about that word is that every human is differently abled.
Yeah.
So saying that it's not clear.
It doesn't define disability in any way.
Yeah.
Which is important, and disability is not bad. And
we have seen some other content creators in the disability community use that term, so it's definitely not a term that everyone agrees is bad.
But I do think the opinion of activists is that it is an unhelpful term. We'll get into in a little bit why we think that other disabled people do like some of these words. It's a whole big issue. So we'll get to that in a bit. The next word or kind of idea is inspirational.
Oh yeah. Nah, I done heard this. Oh, your story is so inspirational. Oh, you inspirational because of what you do. This, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Not giving up, keep fighting, blah, blah. Bruh, if your life not an inspiration, how is my life an inspiration to call me in a wheelchair? Let that sink in for a minute. Man, I'm just gonna give y'all a second to think about that. How is my life any different? Cause I'm in a wheelchair. And y'all life is normal cause y'all not. Like, I don't understand. It's the same. Y'all living, I'm living. Y'all got stuff going on, I got stuff going on. How is I'm an inspiration cause I'm in a wheelchair? You can say, now, if something happened to me and I overcome it, then you can be like, oh, bro, you so inspirational. But how's I'm inspirational coming in a wheelchair? Like, that don't make sense. I understand what y'all be trying to do, but if you think about it, you be like, bro, they trying to say that because I'm in a wheelchair or something? Like, y'all trying to make me feel special or make me feel more better about myself by telling me that? I don't look at my story as inspiration. I look at it as I'm just a regular human being trying to deal with the situation that I'm put in. Simple.
And I think we've talked about this a lot, but anytime that you see something that is calling a disabled person inspirational for doing something normal, like having a job or having a family or having a relationship, it's a problem.
Well, you'll see, like, you can think of posters that have a kid that has a prosthetic leg, say, and the kid is jumping rope, and you're going to see underneath it a phrase that says something like, no excuses. Like, that is the kind of inspiration.
But if you come to me and say, hey, bro, you don't never have a frown on your face, you always smiling, you don't never complain, then if you be like, oh, you inspirational, in that aspect, I'll be like, okay, cool. But you shouldn't look at me and say I'm inspirational because my story as living in a wheelchair. I'm just adjusting to the cause that God gave me. That's all it is.
That is called inspiration porn, and there's a TED Talk about that you guys should watch.
Yeah, we'll link that below. That's a really great TED Talk. The problem here is that making disability inspirational comes with the idea that disability is so challenging for people that to be able to even, jump rope or have a relationship is some wonderful accomplishment.
Yeah.
And that...
See, that's what I mean by that. It makes it seem like they saying, oh, everything I do is an accomplishment because I'm in a wheelchair. Because let's be real, if I wasn't in a wheelchair and I was doing all the stuff I do now, nobody wouldn't care. Because it'd be regular stuff. Like, come on, man.
I mean, that's not true. As you've seen in hundreds of our videos, my life is very normal. Most disabled people will agree that their lives are not inspiring or profound. They're just living their life and they need accommodations here and there. And the world is often not suitable for their needs.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that you can never find a disabled person inspiring if they're doing something that's worthy of being inspirational.
Exactly.
There are lots of disabled people doing incredible things, and that can inspire you.
Yeah.
But if you see someone in a wheelchair at the grocery store, that should not be something that inspires you.
However, if you see me at the grocery store and I am in the midst of a 10-second burp, that's inspiring. Like, it's okay to say, wow, that really changed my life, and now I think that you're my inspiration. I get that.
Okay.
Another big one is the word cripple or crippled.
Oh my God, I hate this. Bro. Don't ask me if I'm crippled, bro. If you don't want no beef with me, don't ask me that. Cause if you ask me something like that, I'm gonna get mad. And I'm gonna have some choice words to say back to you. So for all y'all out there that's watching my videos, or the people that know me, don't ask me if I'm crippled, cause I'm gonna come off like I'm mad, and it's gonna be an argument. Don't ask me that.
Crippled. This is a very old word. You might be able to talk better about this with your research that you've done. But yeah, it's highly offensive, and it was used back in like the 1800s and 1900s to just be a derogatory term for disabled people. So don't refer to us as crippled.
Yeah, and on that same note, some disabled people do use that term for themselves, but that does not mean that you should refer to them that way.
Yeah, that's more of like a reclaiming kind of an injustice that was done to us.
Yeah. This isn't on our list, but I just want to add in the word handicapped.
Oh, yeah.
Because
handicap, I got mixed emotions about that. I don't know. Sometimes I hear I'll be like, it ain't bad, but then if somebody asks me that, in my head I feel like, dang, that doesn't kind of feel like you tried me a little bit. So I don't know, man. The way I look at my situation, I just look at it as I need help getting around. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as being handicapped or nothing like that. I just look at it as this the best way for me to live a normal life and to get around, to keep up with everybody else and go places and stuff like that. That's how I look at it.
I think that's like very similar to this, and then it's an older term.
Yeah.
And I recently learned, a couple of months ago, I guess, that the word handicapped originally came from the term hand in cap, which was used for beggars. So I think people don't really realize that handicapped is actually.
See, I never knew that. But that's the point she just made. I've never been a beggar, so that definitely can't be me.
Actually, like, about people that were on the street begging for money, and that's why it's like not a very nice word.
I still slip that into my conversation
like handicapped parking.
Like, let's find a handicapped space in the parking lot. So, these are all things that like we need to actively be mindful of. I mean, we're not perfect. We don't always use the right word. Yeah. But we can all do better to focus on the words that we're using.
Now, hopefully this one goes without saying, but you should not ever use the R word.
Yep. I don't think we need to explain that. It's highly...
I know what they're talking about, but I'm not going to even repeat it because that is an offensive word to other people, and you just shouldn't call people that.
Highly offensive, so don't use the R word.
Yeah. All right, the next one is wheelchair bound.
This one really...
Now, I done heard this one a lot. I don't know. I got mixed emotions about this one too because sometimes when I hear it, it don't bother me because I am, but it ain't like I'm bound, like I can't get out of it or something like that. I don't know. Wheelchair bound just seem like, I don't know. Just ask me. I'd rather you ask me, can I walk, than ask me, you wheelchair bound? Like, I don't be understanding. Just ask me, can I walk? Well, I'd rather you just ask me that than say wheelchair bound. I don't know why I feel like that, but if you want to know what's wrong with me, just ask me. I'll respect it more.
Boils my blood.
Shane hates this one. I think a lot of people do. We've had articles written where Shane's referred to in that way, and we always make them change it.
Yeah. Implies that our wheelchairs are limiting things and that they hold us back when they are the exact opposite. If I didn't have my wheelchair, I'd be laying on the floor right now, not moving, not able to move. And my wheelchair is what allows me to be independent. It allows me to move wherever I need to move. I'm not bound to my wheelchair any more than I am bound to my home.
Yeah.
It's just, and it creates this idea that wheelchairs are a bad thing. They're a binding, limiting.
Yeah, wheelchair's not bad. Maybe help us get around and go where we want to go. That's it.
Device, and that's not true.
Another one that's similar is the term suffering from. So someone will say, like, Shane is suffering from SMA,
Yeah.
which is just not a very nice.
Yeah, that is kind of bad. Because you saying somebody's suffering for something. We not suffering. Suffering is when you in pain and you in your dying bed. We not suffering. We just living life.
Nice way of saying that someone has a disability.
I live with SMA.
Yeah.
I'm not suffering. People with disabilities overwhelmingly do not describe themselves as suffering from their disability.
Yeah.
We're suffering from a lack of accessibility and a lack of empathy and kindness and understanding in the world, but that is not our disability. That is society failing to adequately understand us.
I have two more that I'm going to throw in here. These are not on the list, but these are things that people say a lot in comments. They're sort of cliches. One is, like, Shane, I don't even see you as disabled.
Yeah.
Okay? Or like, Hannah, you're amazing for seeing past Shane's wheelchair. Shane.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Why you can't just talk to me for me? Why you gotta say, oh, she gotta see past the wheelchair, or she gotta see past this and that? No. If she talk to me for me. It ain't about my wheelchair.
Shane is disabled. I see that. I acknowledge it.
I'm proudly disabled.
Yeah, I don't see past his wheelchair. It's not something you should see past.
Yeah.
Like, it's here. It's very clear.
It's a part of me, and my disability is a big part of my interaction with the world. And so, again, to avoid it by saying, I see past your disability, is making it into a bad thing that needs to be seen past
Yeah.
in the first place.
It's not a compliment, and people think it's a compliment.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the phrase, the only disability is a bad attitude. And people have, like, left that on our channel, I think, trying to make you feel good that, like, you're not actually disabled.
Yeah.
Which is just, like, not true. And also, the only disability is a bad attitude sort of takes away the fact that society isn't accessible, and a smile isn't going to get someone up a flight of stairs. Like, a bad attitude has absolutely nothing to do with having a disability.
Yeah, it connects to the whole, like, toxic positivity movement, where every problem is, you're encouraged to face every problem by smiling at it or staying positive. And that, I mean, while a positive attitude is helpful, it also doesn't cure systemic ableism or ignorance or hatred. We have to actually do real work to fix those things and not just be happy about them.
Yeah.
So I would argue that the only disability in life is a variety of disabilities that you can be born with or acquire.
I'm editing right now and realized that we forgot to sort of make the bigger point that this phrase situates disability as a bad thing. It says the only disability is a bad attitude, which implies that since a bad attitude is generally seen negatively, that having a disability is a bad thing.
What she said.
All right, we have two more. This one is sort of similar to what we've been talking about, but I want to call it out specifically because my college wrote an article about us and used this exact phrase. It really angered me. And it is the word despite or like overcame. So in my college article, it was Shane has, or despite his disability, Shane has a sense of humor. Something like that.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That implies that my disability should stop me from having a sense of humor.
Yep.
People with disabilities don't do things despite their disabilities. They just do things.
Yeah. And you haven't overcome your disability.
Yeah, that's true. Cause what me being disabled got to do with anything? I ain't overcame nothing. How I overcame something and I'm still going through it. You don't overcome it, you just live with it. You learn to live with it. That's it.
Disability. You are just living your life with a disability. Like you are disabled and living your life, and that is totally normal, and you have not overcome anything.
Exactly.
I think that's a huge trope that Shane is successful by overcoming his disability, which is not true.
Yeah, it means that I'm in some way like not disabled.
Yeah.
And I am, and I face a lot of issues because of it in the world.
Yeah.
So, not overcoming my disability,
Nope.
just having one.
Yep.
The last topic is kind of a debate in the disability society, and this is the one that, you know, there are arguments for both sides, and it's the idea of using person-first language, you know, examples saying, I am a person with a disability.
I'm gonna end it right there because they basically just summed up the video and what they talking about now. I don't know nothing about it, but they had a lot of good points, and I agree with most of the topics they were talking about. You shouldn't say these things to disabled people because some of them is offensive and people get mad about stuff like that. So you keep that in mind. I thank y'all for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and more bangers is on the way. Alright, I'm gone. Peace.